Let me be clear. I dislike that whole Canelo dared to be great theory. That's what boxers do every time they step in the ring. Yes, he lost. However, I still think he's one of the greatest fighters of all time, and most definitely one of the greatest of this era. What up, world? It's your boy LJ, aka Left Hook Les, and I am back with more boxing. Before we get into this week's fights, I want to first start off by saying congratulations to Dimitri Bivol in his most recent defeat of Saul Canelo Alvarez. Listen, folks, Bivol had a perfect game plan, and he outboxed Canelo. He basically landed more on Canelo. He landed a few nice straight rights, and he was simply the bigger man. Canelo, yes, he did beat Sergey Kovalev at light heavyweight, but he's not a natural light heavyweight. His natural weights are really super middleweight. So Dimitri Bivol is a natural light heavyweight, and he definitely showed it in the ring this past weekend. And I just want to say that those judges' cards, they were a little too close based on what actually happened in the fight. All three cards had it 115, 113. I definitely saw more 117, 111. That's more what I saw, or I couldn't give Canelo more than 3-4 rounds, to be honest. Bivol won at least 8-9 rounds. And it was simply because he just had the basics of boxing. He had that jab and that straight. I mean, he just looked phenomenal. And I want to also say this does not take away from the greatness that is Canelo Alvarez. Yes, he lost. However, I still think he's one of the greatest fighters of all time, and most definitely one of the greatest of this era. Let me be clear. I dislike that whole Canelo dared to be great theory. That's what boxers do every time they step in the ring, unless they're stepping in the ring for a payday. Most of the time, boxers, they get in there and they dare to be great. They're trying to beat their opponent. They're trying to accomplish something. So this whole dare to be great, I don't buy that narrative. However, this loss doesn't take away from the greatness that is Canelo Alvarez. This does, sort of lower this whole perception that he is unbeatable, because he is definitely beatable. Floyd, TBE beat him. I believe that Erislandy Lara beat him as well. And I even believe that Triple G beat Canelo in the first fight. So Canelo is definitely beatable. And Dimitri Bivol showed it in a beautiful way this past weekend. But Canelo is still great. I believe he regroups, goes back down to 168, and hopefully he rematches Bivol, because Bivol did say that he's willing to come down to 168 for all of the belts that Canelo has. Hopefully we can see that. I'm fine with even seeing it after the Triple G trilogy fight. So take care of Triple G in September. You already said you wanted to fight in the winter as well. So then let that be the Dimitri Bivol rematch. And I would definitely be watching to see what, if any, adjustments that you make from the first fight. And, hopefully it's a more entertaining fight and not such a dominating performance by one side. And I'm just looking forward to it. Congratulations, Dimitri Bivol and Saul Canelo Alvarez. Get back to it, man. You weren't using your jab effectively at all. Your feet look like they were tired, man. You started to have those stamina issues again. The previous few fights, I would say like 3 fights, you didn't show any stamina issues, but I don't know why they reappeared at this weight class. Maybe it was the extra weight that you had. Not completely sure. But I just want to say this, and then we'll move forward to this week's fights. Eddie Reynoso, he lost 2 big fights in back-to-back weeks. First, Oscar Valdez got brutally defeated by Shakur Stevenson, and then Dimitri Bivol outboxed Canelo last weekend. So Eddie Reynoso, it's time for that whole camp to go back to the drawing board and, you know, figure out the mistakes that were made and improve on those things, because both Oscar Valdez and Canelo are great fighters. And I believe that you are a good trainer, decent trainer. So I just believe that the whole camp can make adjustments, go back to the drawing board, and come back strong. Moving on. Let's get it. This weekend, we have the rematch at 154, super welterweight or light middleweight, whatever you want to call it. 154 pounds, undisputed championship rematch between Jermell Charlo and Castaño. I cannot wait for this, folks. The first fight was all that it could be and more. It ended in a draw, which is why this is a rematch. Listen, it was a controversial draw. I personally thought Jermell Charlo had inked it out like just a little bit, but I am not upset with the draw. Other folks believe that Castaño won. I'm not sure what fight they were watching, but we all know that boxing is definitely about perception. What do you like more in the fighter? Do you like the busier fighter? Do you like the more calculated counter puncher? Do you like who lands the more effective punches, or who lands more punches? Like, you know, perception in watching boxing is definitely different. So I'm not upset with the draw. In fact, I'm excited because it got us this rematch that comes on this weekend. And let me tell you, folks, I believe we're going to be in for a good one. But on that undercard, we got my man from Philly, Jerron Boots Ennis. He is the next superstar at the 147-pound division. He has been slowly amping up his competition. And even he's fought previous world champions in his most recent 2 fights, and he just made them look average. This boy is talented. He says he sees himself as, his skills most compared to Roy Jones Jr., and I couldn't agree more. I'm so excited to see Boots back in the ring. He's fighting Clayton, and I'm just going to tell you, folks, based on the press conference yesterday, Clayton does not look nor sound confident. And that's crazy, because just like Roy Jones, sometimes opponents are already beat before they get into the ring. Roy Jones' opponents, a lot of them, and Mike Tyson's opponents, they were defeated mentally before they even got in the ring. That's what I saw yesterday at the press conference from Clayton, but Boots is still going to have to bring it. Boots has, according to reports, he has had a tremendous training camp, looked very good in sparring. So I can't wait to see him perform. And this is an IBF title eliminator. So hopefully whoever wins this fight will be the mandatory for currently Errol Spence IBF belt. And I believe that will be a mega fight. So Boots, I hope you put on a good show. Clayton, I hope you get past that perceived mental hurdle that you had displayed at the press conference. And I'm just looking forward to this. Boots is an exciting fighter. Boots is an exciting fighter, especially stylistically, not just his boxing style, but even the style of clothes that he wears into the ring. I always look forward to what he's going to have on and how he's going to perform best of luck to you, Boots Ennis. And also, man, I saw your portion on that All the Smoke episode. So Showtime is doing a wonderful job with promoting their fighters. Before every fight, they typically have the Showtime boxers on there, like the Charlo brothers, like Errol Spence, now Boots Ennis. They've even had Tank Davis on there before. So it's going to be an exciting fight. Showtime is definitely promoting it the right way. Let's move on to that main event. Jermell Charlo versus Castaño. Folks, I'm excited because the first fight was extreme fireworks. It was a very entertaining fight. And I believe that the rematch will not be as exciting, but still be a very good fight to watch. And I believe that Jermell Charlo has learned from the mistakes that he made in the first fight, and I believe he figures him out in the second fight based on the adjustments that he made in this camp. And I believe that Jermell Charlo knocks out Castaño in the late rounds. I'm going to say about round 10, 9, 10. Jermell Charlo is going to get Castaño out of there because Castaño, he's a volume puncher, and he left himself open in the first fight, and I believe that Jermell Charlo will take advantage of that this time. They both got hurt in the first fight. Neither one of them was able to finish the other, of course, but Jermell Charlo has a mean streak, and he attempted to get him out of there, but he respected Castaño. I believe, like I said, he's already made the adjustments in camp. And if he gets Castaño hurt again, which I believe is likely, I believe he's going to get him out of there. And he's going to box a smart, brilliant game plan. Of course, Castaño could adjust as well, but I'm just picking my man Charlo for the knockout and the first undisputed champion at 154 pounds. Well, that's all, folks. If you like this video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, comment on who you think is going to win this fight. Let me know who you want them to see. Let me know who you want them to fight next. Do you believe that Boots Ennis is going to step up and become the IBF mandatory? Will he fight the winner of Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford? And will Jermell Charlo be the first 154 undisputed champion, or will Castaño make the adjustments in this fight and come out victorious? Let me know in the comment section below. And that's all I got for you. It's your boy LJ, aka Left Hook Les, and I am out.